Hey guys, welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview and I'm here with Lee Gormley. Lee, how we doing, mate?
I'm good. Very, very good. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on.
It is a pleasure to have you on, mate. And so am I right in saying you're a super featherweight who's 1-0?
That's correct. Yeah, as of last weekend, yeah,
As
1-0, won my professional debut, and yeah, fighting at super featherweight.
Of course, of course. Well, congratulations, of course, for the first victory. And we'll start with a question which I always like to start off with, and that is, why did you start boxing?
Oh, so started quite a few years back now, but basically sort of got inspired from watching probably Kjell Frampton, famous Irish fighter. Big inspiration to me, like someone I always looked up to, and watching one of his fights many years ago, like, and sort of got inspired to take it up myself competitively. I was always into boxing myself, always enjoyed it, but in terms of like competing, it wasn't until sort of seeing Carl Frampton's fights and that, and sort of wanted to get into that myself, and I started into it, and after my first session straight away, I was hooked, like, and then the drive just came from there. Like, I just wanted to get better and better and improve, and yeah, got into the amateurs and just steady improvements, and just wanted to get better, become as good a fighter as possible, and now here we are as a pro now as well. So it's been a
Yes,
good journey so far.
indeed, most definitely. And so just a couple of questions upon the amateur career that you had. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
First amateur fight was like a very short notice one. I remember, actually, it was in Liverpool,
Hmm.
and I got the call up for it. I think it was like maybe a day before, 2 days before,
Hmm.
and yeah, I took it short notice, and it was the last weekend of the season as well. The season I had started at the team, so it was the last chance to get a fight of that season. Like, and I took it obviously short notice, and went down with one of my coaches to Liverpool and got the win. Beat a guy, and he had a few. I had no fights at that point, but he had a few. Like, so I was up against it, and on his home show as well. Like, but yeah, I went down on short notice and got the win. Started off successfully in the amateurs. Like,
Of course, and I suppose is that mindset of wanting and willing to take these tough fights going into the professional still something that you kind of look forward to.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think always did that as an amateur. There's no easy fights, and where I'm based in northwest England, and the amateurs, every fight was tough. So that's definitely something I'll be doing as a pro as well, for sure. Like, after a few learning fights, once I get like maybe like a year or so, get these learning fights under my belt, and then I'll be ready to push on for titles and that, hopefully, and yeah, on the bigger fights.
Brilliant. So, upon your amateur career as a whole, what would you say was your biggest achievement?
Uh, just I think just getting to the level where I'm at now. I had I think I had near 35 fights or something along those lines. Lost count by that point, but I think just the overall, yeah, development, really. Meeting so many good people in the gym, and all the coaches that train him and I as a pro. I think that was the key thing. For the amateurs, for me, was just, it was experience. For the pros, like, I never got into it thinking I was going to be like an Olympian or like a big amateur star. Like, it was always just fight as many different styles as possible, get the experience, and then move on to the pros. Like, so, key achievement, I'd say, is just the level that I've got to from staying busy and from developing the craft in those amateur fights. So
Indeed, and so now, of course, you've had your one professional fight, but what was the reasoning behind you turning professional when you did?
it was always in the works. As I said, like, I was never going to stick around in the amateurs for like years and years. It was always building up towards the pros.
Mm.
There were times where I could have maybe went pro a bit earlier, but it stuck around just a little bit longer for the extra experience. But turning pro, it's always something I wanted to do since I was into boxing. Like, and I just want to. have a great career that I can look back on with my family. You know, leave a bit of family legacy and something to be proud of when I look back when I'm a bit older. Like,
Yes, of course. And so, like we spoke about, you've had your one professional fight, now you've had your debut. And so, how pleased were you with your overall performance in that fight?
yeah, pleased enough. You know, there's a lot of nerves and a lot of jitters, obviously, and build up to your very first fight. You know, it would be a disaster to lose your debut, like, you know, as a pro. And I just the performance was solid enough. Like, I'm happy enough with it. Thought I maybe could have pressed the action a wee bit more towards the end for stoppage, but he was a tough guy I was in with for my first one. Like, very experienced, and he's been with a lot of good fighters. Like, but happy enough overall. Just to get the 1-0, like that's the key thing with your debut, is just getting the win. Like, anything can happen in a fight. You know, first round you can go out and you can get cut or injured or anything, and things can just end badly from there. Like, but yeah, happy enough, 1-0, and yeah, ready to push on for the next one already.
Good to hear. And so, upon this debut of yours, did you kind of feel many nerves or anything going into the fight?
Just the usual nerves.
Mm.
Like, people say, like, you'll never be as nervous as you are before, like your debut and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was that zoned in, that focused, that I never, at once on fight night, like, I had no nerves at all. I was just ready to go. Like, I'd waited for so long, worked so hard towards it, like that. I was just ready to get in there and enjoy it, and I did really enjoy every moment. So yeah, the nerves weren't an issue. Like, the nerves come more like when you're a week out or 2 weeks out. You know, that's when, like, your mind sort of plays tricks on you
Yeah.
sometimes, and you have to start stay positive and that. But on the night, like, I was ready to go,
Mm.
and yeah, the nerves were gone by that point. Like,
Good to hear. And I suppose to an extent, a lot of fighters talk about how nerves do play a positive factor in just like helping you get up for the fight in general. And I suppose to have these nerves from maybe a week out, that maybe fuels you even more.
oh yeah, for sure. I think you use it for positive, like you said. Like, it's adrenaline, isn't it?
Mm.
So it's just about using them positively. You know, a lot of people, especially on their debut, you see guys that lose their debut, they just let the nerves crush them, and
Yeah.
they come out swinging. Then they don't stay calm and composed. And I've seen that happen a few times recently. Like, but yeah, it's just about using them to your advantage. You know, you use the nerves, and you only get nerves obviously because it means so much to you as well. Like, so you just have to remember that, and use them to your own benefit, like what you did.
Most definitely. And so, for yourself, just early on in your professional career, what would you say is your current motivation for the sport?
I've got a lot of different motivations, like, but I think I just want to make something of myself. You know, I just want to leave, as I said, like a bit of a family legacy to look back on. And, you know, from I've got a wee fella, he's 3 years old now, so I'd love to, when he gets older, be able to look back and say his dad was a decent boxer, like, and he did this, did that. So he's obviously a good motivation. For me, for any family as well. Like, but I think it's just overall just making something of myself. You know, I've got, I work very hard for this, so I want to just push on and see how far I can go. I know I can get that good level. Like, so the motivation for training every day is just getting better. You know, getting better every day and seeing how far I can go, and getting becoming the best fighter possible, the best version of himself possible.
Brilliant. And so, for your debut, you were with VIP Boxing and on one of their shows. And so, what is it like working with them as a company?
Yeah, VIP are great. You know, Steve Woods, the main guy there, he's a good promoter. He looks out for all the fighters in the show. He's a top fella, like, and he really cares about the sport too. And yeah, I'm very thankful to him for getting me on the show. Like, and yeah, it was a great show to be on. Start off with great venue as well at the University of Bolton Stadium, or as the Reebok it used to be called. So yeah, very thankful to VIP Boxing, and I'm sure it'll be the first of many more shows to feature on down the line.
Indeed. And so, I suppose for the moment, activity is probably the most important part of your career, and so do you have a possible date or maybe month of when you might be back fighting again?
Yeah, so activity's key. I was hoping to maybe get out at the end of July again, but I don't know if that's going to be realistic at the minute. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely September is going to be the next show again in probably Bolton, Manchester. And then I think it's going to be a busy end of the year, all being well. So September, and then hopefully each month after that for the rest of the year. It just depends on like sponsors and stuff helping as well. You know, the fighters like me when we're getting started off, sponsors are essential. Like so, I've got a few on board already, but you know, any more that can come on and help every month is a huge boost for me. Like so, yeah, I think next fight looking more likely to be September, and then maybe October as well. And there's talk of maybe fighting at home in Ireland as well in Belfast. So towards the end of the year, so we'll see. Hopefully that comes to fruition.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I'll touch upon that in just a moment. And just for yourself as a fighter, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
Makes myself interesting. I think because I've come from a bit of a strange background from it, you know, like I've got into boxing after having been, you know, a sports writer myself. It tends to be the other way around, isn't it? You know, fighters retire and then they get into like the media and stuff. But I've sort of gone the opposite direction, which is a bit of a weird one. Like so, yeah, I sort of know the ins and outs of boxing, like on like business side of things and the media side of things, and that like which helps. So yeah, that's a bit of a strange one, like to get into that way. Like, but in terms of like in the ring and stuff, style wise as well, what makes me interesting. I think I'm a versatile fighter. Like, I haven't really got to show it, obviously, just in one fight so far, but you know, got a good range of skills. Like, I was my debut, I was boxing behind my jab, keeping things at range and that. But I'm more than capable of, you know, fighting on the inside, which is a bit of a dying art at the minute in boxing. Like so, yeah, I'm a very versatile fighter. Like so, I think after a few more fights, people hopefully get to see what I'm all about, and then push on to even bigger, longer format fights. You know, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, and more so.
Indeed. And so, just to kind of touch upon yourself being that kind of sport writer and then coming into boxing, does that mean like, I mean, you see a lot of fighters who turn professional and maybe aren't so media trained and maybe don't really know what to say as much and struggle with stuff like interviews, but does it mean that you are to an extent media trained a bit more and understand the whole kind of works around what interviews are and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think sort of comes a bit more naturally to me like, because I've had all those years of doing what you're doing now. You know, being on the other side of things like. So I think that definitely helped in the lead up to like my debut, you know, doing interviews and things like that. It definitely helps. So I've been doing things, I guess, from when I was at university myself, interviewing fighters and that. So yeah, definitely a big help when it comes to doing stuff like this, for sure.
Brilliant. And so, I mean, in the prior answer, you touched upon wanting to fight in Ireland and in Belfast especially. And so, I suppose if you could have maybe a dream venue that you would love to fight in, where would that be?
Ooh, I'm not sure about a dream venue as such, but just fighting at home
Mm-hmm.
this year would be a bit of a dream, really. Like so early on in my career, like I am based in Manchester, Bolton, so that's where I'm primarily going to be fighting long term. Like, but to fight at home in Belfast would be great. I know there's a few different venues out and around there. I'm from a place called Lurgan
Okay.
and then County Armagh in Ireland, like, and there's a few venues and stuff around there that would be quite cool to fight at in my actual hometown. I used to play. I'll give you a venue. Actually, there's a Gaelic club I used to play for
Okay.
uh, called the Sarsfields, and out where I live back home in Lurgan, and we've got like good facilities and stuff there. Like maybe someday I can fight at the High Moss. It's called out on the Sarsfields football pitch, like an outdoor outdoor venue down the line. Maybe that's something to think about in years to come.
Indeed, mate. Hopefully that is the case. And so, for your aspirations in the sport, how far do you believe you can go?
Yeah, I've confidence in my ability, and I've got such a great team as well. So I know I can go far. Like I think the key thing is, how disciplined and motivated I am. I just had my debut there last weekend, but I've already been back in the gym
Mm-hmm.
straight away this week. I actually got kicked out of the got kicked out of the gym on Tuesday by one of my coaches. He told me to leave and come back today and Friday. I needed more of a break.
Okay.
But yeah, aspirations. Like after a few learning fights, I like to push on for titles. I'm based in Manchester, so there's a central area title would be nice to get my hands on
Mm-hmm.
at some point. And then I would love to win an Irish title or a Celtic title. That would be a dream. And then once I can get to that level, push on from there and see how things go.
Of course, mate. Brilliant. Well, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Just a big shout for any more sponsors, really. As I said, like I'm trying to stay busy. I'm active. I'm never out of the gym. So the key thing now at this stage in my career is just help with sponsors each month financially, and that to cover the costs of being able to fight. A lot of people don't realize that it costs so much money to actually just to be able to get in the ring
Yeah.
yourself. Like so yeah, I think from September onwards to the back half or the back end of this year, I'm hoping to stay extremely busy. So, just any more sponsors, uh, whether they're based in England or Ireland, it doesn't matter. I can both are a big help. Just get in touch. I'm on Instagram at Gormley. I'm on Twitter as well at Lee Gormley. People can add me on Facebook and whatever else. Yeah, I've got a link on Instagram with my number and stuff on it too for sponsor inquiries and stuff like that. So yeah, anyone fancies that, then just get in touch, please. Yeah,
Amazing, mate. Well, thank you very much for doing this. Maybe a little bit further along down the line when you're fighting for titles and stuff, we can come and do another interview, mate.
yeah, 100%. Thanks very much. Yeah,
Amazing.
thanks.
So if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you like the video, and thanks for watching.